Today we're going to be going over sum and difference of cubes. Some common mistakes that can be made by using sum and difference of cubes is forgetting to put the correct signs. We use SOAP, which stands for same sign, opposite sign, always positive. It is used in the equation itself. A, same sign, B, A squared, opposite sign, AB, and then always positive, B squared. Finding roots can be a common mistake because the way you answer the quadratic formula. While using the quadratic formula, you must remember to simplify the square root and remember to add in the imaginary number when the square root is negative, the imaginary number being I. So basically, there must be a term that is cubed while there is no other variable other than the coefficient. The coefficient must be able to be cubed. There cannot be a term to the second power or to the first. For instance, this equation is not a sum of difference of cubes. X cubed plus x squared plus x plus 1. However, x cubed minus 125 is a sum of difference of cube problem. You must also be able to rewrite the expression so that each term is to the power of 3, if not already done. However, you must also take into consideration that a possible GCF. If you use GCF and the equation still doesn't end up with a term to the third power, then it's not a sum of difference of cube problem. These are the requirements for the identification of the problem to be viewed as a sum of difference of cubes. The problem today will be 2x cubed plus 128. We can start off by using the GCF being 2. Then we can break down both terms by the degree of 3, which is technically cubing the equation. Then we put the equation into SOAP, which will be showed later on into the video. Then we can use the x method on the side of the parentheses, but we don't have to. Solve for the roots with the quadratic formula. We're going to start with the same problem that was viewed in the other slide. The problem being 2x cubed plus 128. Out of the bat, we can see that the GCF is 2. 2 parentheses x cubed plus 64 is what we will get once we divide the equation by 2. We will now go on and use SOAP. SOAP is a simpler way to remember an equation. The S stands for same sign, O stands for opposite sign, A stands for always, and P stands for positive. The equation itself is kind of hard to remember, so this is the reason we use SOAP. The equation would be parentheses A plus B, parentheses A squared minus AB plus B squared. Okay, so now we are going to use the equation we got after factoring the GCF out of the equation. We now cubed what was inside the parentheses, but we left x cubed alone because it is already cubed. And 64 cubed will be 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. Now we will start plugging into the equation of SOAP. X plus 4 parentheses x squared minus x parentheses 4 parentheses plus 4 squared. Now we will simplify what was inside the equation and add in the GCF. X times 4 is 4x. And 4 squared is 16. We will now use what we got before and plug it into the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c divided by 2a. We are now plugging in a, b, and c, which is listed from above, a being x, b being negative 4, and c being 16. So after we plug it in, we should be getting negative parentheses negative 4 plus or minus square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 16 divided by 2 times 1. We will now simplify it, we would get 4 plus or minus the square root of. The reason 4 is positive is because the negative times the negative is a positive. Now we will simplify the equation that is to the left. 4 plus or minus negative 48 is what we got. And the reason why 4 is positive this time is because negative times a negative is a positive. And of course, we must not forget to divide by 2 because 2 times 1 is 2. After dividing it by 2, we should get 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 24. We will now find the square root. You can either do this way or in the calculator, whichever you prefer. After finding our square root, we will plug it in. We have to remember to take out the negative from the square root. We can never have a negative there, so we must change that to an I. We end up getting 2 plus or minus 2i square root of 6. Our answers will be ending up 2 plus 2i square root of 6 and 2 minus 2i square root of 6. But we also have to include our other answers, which is x equals 4, 2 plus 2i square root of 6, comma, 2 minus 2i square root of 6.